This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got it, the new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and 3 Counts, and man, we sure did find a way to put a hell of a gap in between somebody's first appearance on the show and somebody's next appearance on the show, because I went back and looked and didn't even realize, because of all this COVID shit, that the last time we had Smilin Sam Alvey on the show, it was, man, that was 5 years ago now.
Ooh,
Good
it's been too long, guys.
It really has. Hot damn.
Yeah, I just thought you guys didn't like me.
Not at all, dude. Not at all. How could we not, especially after hanging out at Harry's after UFC 218 and all that stuff, man? It was good times.
It was.
A bunch of new faces on here now, too. Sure.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Corey and J-Bone are new to you. To those who have been watching the show, they know what's up. But I was just on the phone with Devin before we got on, and he's like, damn, dude. He was like, I'm bummed that I'm at work and can't do the show tonight. So shout out to Devin. I know you're probably in here. Yeah, like I said, dude, it's been a long time. So how are you doing? First of all, how are you feeling fight week?
I feel great. I'm heavy, so I got some weight to lose, but I'm really feeling pretty good about it. I lost about 5 pounds from yesterday, so it's coming down well. It's coming down real nice right now.
It's always good to hear.
Yeah.
I know it always makes me worry when I hear, especially a veteran fighter, of your stance to say, hey, I still got some weight to go. It's, like, usually you guys don't disclose it unless it's something where it's like, I got some work to do type of feeling,
You know what I found out? Social media likes it when I complain about stuff. So it's going to be, I've never done it. I've never done this
That's
before.
what it's here for.
I swear I can post a million positive things about how great this person is, how great of a performance this fighter did, this, that, and the other. You say one negative thing, and that's the one thing that gets you a million likes. It's just
oh my goodness,
the way social media is engineered, or whatever the case be.
I commented on his like MMA fighting or MMA junkies post the other day about Conor McGregor saying his fight was similar to Amanda Nunes, and all I said was, questioned, didn't Diaz miss weight for your first, or didn't Diaz take the fight on 2 weeks' notice or something? And good God, it was as if I said he was the worst fighter ever. I was legit just asking a question, and it was, oh my God, Sam, blah blah blah. It was ridiculous. It wasn't even something bad. It was just they all wanted it to be bad.
It's crazy. It's like
Connor on the internet, dude. You can't go near Connor on the internet because the world just comes after you.
That guy could do and say whatever, and I feel like his fans, no matter what, are gonna be like, that's it. It's Conor McGregor, and that's what way we're going, dude.
There's some diehards, that's for damn sure.
Well, speaking of diehards, man, you were at SummerSlam this past weekend, and we all know that the WWE has quite the group of diehards. Well, what were your thoughts on SummerSlam, man? You got to be there and watch Brock Lesnar play rancher with his damn tractor, and I mean, what were your thoughts on the show?
I had a great time. It's been years since I've been to a WWE. And so I live in Tennessee now, so I said, well, I have to do this. So I bought tickets for me and my family, and then a week later, I got a fight for a week after SummerSlam. I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm coming home.
Perfect timing.
that Brock Lesnar fight, that was a fantastic match. It was a lot of fun. I'm kind of hoping Reigns and Lesnar don't have to go at it again. They've done it countless times already.
You're not kidding.
It was fun. It was that forklift coming in and just about flipping the ring was. It was cool. I was telling you guys beforehand. As it pulled in, it's like, well, the ring is getting flipped. I mean, you just knew it was. But it was, you know what it was halfway through he went and he parked it like over the ring. I kept thinking Reigns was going to hit it. I kept thinking on one of Suplex City or something, Lesnar was going to slip up and hit Reigns' head on that.
Dude, and the thing was, like, it's funny you say that because I was at WrestleMania this past year. Ring the bell, Kyle. I know you're going to end up seeing this, but Man, at WrestleMania, it was the same with where we were sitting. So where I was sitting, it was on like the side of the stage. So like when Sasha Banks came out with the Lambo, I could see the Lambo before it was coming out. When Austin had his four-wheeler over there, when he went back, I was like, I know where he's coming. Then he ripped Hall's ass out of there on the four-wheeler. So, dude, you never know what you're going to get. And it's interesting now that all the stuff with Vince McMahon and now, you know, Triple H is in the head of creative and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to see, because I feel like we're going to get the envelope pushed. With that being said, I know you took your kids. What was their favorite match, man?
Oh, they loved it. You know, we walked in during the Bianca Belair match.
Okay.
And that was, and after looking back, so that might have been my favorite match of the night too. Yeah, but that was definitely, and they actually told me unprovoked, like as we were leaving, they said, I think Bianca Belair was my favorite match of the night. So yeah, it was. It was great. It was early, but it was good.
Way to kick off the show for sure. That was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
It was a cool look, man. It looked like the old school SummerSlam, like the one from Wembley and stuff with the outside stadium and all that. It was a cool look, man. I mean, WrestleMania was the same kind of thing, except with it being Dallas. You know, it had the roof over everything. But I mean, that's got to be a good way to take your mind off of things, because I mean, obviously, you know, with you going into this fight, it's your last fight on your deal with the UFC and all those things. I mean, does that give you kind of like a mental, like, you know what, it is what it is, and kind of gives you a little bit of a load off your shoulders as you get into the cage? Or is it kind of one of those things where you want to make a statement for whatever the next step for you is going to be?
Yeah, you know, I'm one of the rare fighters that I will never be cut from the UFC. My contract expired. I may not be re-signed, but I won't be cut. So for the rest of my life, I'll be able to tell people that. So that's pretty cool. And you know what? In all likelihood, I'm going to fight my ass off. I'm going to win spectacularly, and maybe they will offer me another contract, which would be fantastic too. It's almost my dream job fighting for the UFC. The only thing I ever wanted to do more was be in the WWE. So who knows? Maybe I'll get that microphone this time and just run my mouth in the right way and get that WWE contract off.
I heard Triple H is running some tryouts, man. If you talk to the right people, we might be able to see Smilin Sam in the old ring. But in all seriousness, jumping back to the fight game, I was making note before you had jumped in with us pre-show that, you know, in the UFC, they have not taken it lightly on you whatsoever. They have just been feeding you these, you know, next level, you know, the up and coming. Like I had noted it to these guys, I feel like every guy that they're trying to give to you, they're expecting, if they're able to get the win, that they'll end up being the next top 10 level, you know, 205er. And it's just amazing to see the performances that you can, you know, continue to put on in these fights. I mean, you know, we know how they came out, but
yeah,
the performances during the fight still speak for themselves against all these top level talent. And to, you know, note, like you were saying just a minute ago, they don't want to cut you because they truly do feel like you're a great barometer for where these, you know, younger level fighters are. And I mean that as no like disrespect or anything.
No, it kind of keeps sinking in as I'm an old fighter now. It's like, goodness, when did that happen? Well, I was talking to someone today. Said this is my 25th fight in the UFC. Most athletes that get to the UFC don't make it to fight number 5. And this is my 25th. This is like incredible. I can't believe that what I have been able to do with this time in the UFC. It's been just a blessing, and I hope I get to continue doing it. I'm fighting for a new contract, or at the very least, you know, a future contract. Most of those last like of my. It's no secret I haven't won a fight in 8 fights. If you trust the judges. Which I don't.
Right.
I think I won 4 of those 8, but 7 of the 8 were on like less than a month's notice. They were all last minute fill-ins. Ryan Spann, Jim Crute, Allen, Brendan Allen, Julian Marquez. They were all last minute. Wellington, Turman. I keep checking my phone today. Expecting my opponent to have backed out or not gotten here or been injured or something.
That's
Seems to
another
be the
thing.
trend, so.
Yeah, that's another thing you definitely notice when doing your further diligence into the record and stuff, man, is you've had to deal with so many different canceled bouts and stuff on the in between of all these fights as well. Most of them on the opponent's side, a couple on your guys' end, and it just was constantly, like you say, like when the iron's hot while everything's good and this opportunity presents itself, I'm going to strike, and that's where the cards lie because of it.
Yeah, so I know what I'm up against. I know how talented my opponent is, and I'm really looking forward to being able to put together. I mean, I had an 8-week camp. I had a full camp training for one guy, so I'm looking forward to getting out there and showing what a full camp Sam can do.
Yeah,
well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about too with your camp for this fight, because like you said, you moved to Nashville, and I know I'm watching your interview with one of our past guests, James Lynch, talking about, moving around in the different training camps with Nashville. I know you were training at Michael Chandler's gym, and now you've got a new spot over there. So tell me what it's been like splitting your camp for this one between Nashville and I know you're doing most of your training in Cali for most of your career.
Yeah, so Nashville MMA kicked me out. So when they kicked me out, I had to find a new gym. So I went and I looked around and I found Guardian MMA. Their jiu-jitsu is incredible. They've got, a line of black belts in there to submit me at will, and most of them are roughly my size. That is so rare for me to go into a jiu-jitsu gym with good guys that are as big as me. I have been so blessed to be able to find them. And so we've been doing as much jiu-jitsu as I can with them for the last 6 months. I got the fight notice about 12 weeks out, and I trained with Guardian for the first 6 weeks, and I trained with Team Quest, Dan Henderson's gym, for the last 6 weeks, and I put together a really good camp. Sorry, my kids are over there. I'm over here, kiddos.
Bring them on, family affair. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go, kiddos. And I put together a really good camp. No injuries, knock on wood. There's still time for me to slip and fall, but no injuries. And I just had a really good time being able to do what I do.
Dude, and that's with this matchup, it's crazy. It's like we were talking about this before we went on the show. We were trying to figure out if we could figure out how to exactly say your opponent's name right. So
I felt like good old Anik trying to do his study work to properly pronounce all these names on the card. I'm like, Michal Oleksiejczuk. I believe it's right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard that Y pronounced, that J pronounced as the Y. I've heard the Z silenced. I've heard the K. I have no idea. Oleksiejczuk ish. No disrespect, but I can't say his name.
Yeah.
Well, with what you just said with your camp and getting to train for one guy, how do you feel with this matchup? Like, getting to train for that one person, how do you feel you stack up with?
I feel great about it. I like that I'm going to be the bigger fighter, but he probably doesn't know it yet. It's his first fight down from 205 to 85, but he's a really small 205er. I kind of think he's welterweight. He just doesn't want to cut. Yeah, I call him a European middleweight, which is American welterweight. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's bigger than I thought. I got bigger. I got stronger. I come in a little heavier, I was planning on doing it because I know what I can cut, and I wanted to keep my size as best I could. And I know how fast he is. Even at 205, he was fast. With all the movement, he's always moving. So I've been able to spend a lot of time just working on being able to keep up with someone who's going to be moving as much as him.
I feel like that's a great point of focus, definitely, because yet again, doing my due diligence on your opponent as well, that's one thing I definitely noticed, man. He's very active in the cage. He's always keeping his feet just in constant either pressure or back step, one or the other. He steps laterally fairly often, but more often than not, it's straight back or straight forward.
Yeah, and he's done that for his entire career. Everyone I've been able to find watch, he is always either forwards or back.
Yeah.
The announcers keep saying he has head movement. He doesn't have head movement. He has body movement. His head never moves.
He ducks with shots, but his head stays in position. I noticed the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you saying in other interviews how much you've been training with Sean Strickland to help get ready for this fight and stuff like that. So, if you and Strickland were to ever get into a promo battle, who wins, Sam Alvey or Sean Strickland?
I would love the opportunity. See, I can say whatever I want as long as I smile. Nobody thinks I'm an ass. He says whatever he wants. Everyone thinks he's an ass. I think I win. I think I can get away with saying more.
Killing them with kindness, huh? I like the approach.
Natural baby face. I like it. Well, I've heard you say that after you're done fighting, you could see yourself doing WWE. If that were so, if you could have any dream match against anybody, it doesn't matter if it's somebody that's out right now, somebody you watched as a kid, or whoever it might be. What kind of match are we having? Where are we doing it at, and who are you facing?
Well, we got to have a cage match. I mean, you got to have a cage match.
Makes sense.
Yeah, advantage Sam. And you know who I'd want to have a cage match with? I think it'd be a great storyline. Is Ken Shamrock. I think so. Yeah, it would make sense. People would bite into it, and I'd floor him. I'd take him out.
I love it.
I'd love to see the matchup of two good guys, Orange Cassidy versus Smilin Sam. I feel like that'd be the greatest matchup. You'd have to fight with your hands in
just
your
watch the Superman punch, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be perfect. Well, with that being said, as like we mentioned, obviously with it being your last fight on the contract and stuff, if you don't end up knocking dude out and going and getting you a new UFC contract, where I would like to see if you did end up doing that way, bare knuckle would be something that I think you'd be dope at. But what are your thoughts on the landscape of combat sports right now with like PFL, Bellator, all that kind of stuff as you approach this fight?
Yeah, it's a great time to be unemployed in MMA.
I don't mean it like that, but
Sam,
there are so many places. Bellator's been wonderful. I fought for them before. I fought under Bjorn, and I wasn't crazy about Bjorn, but I love Coker. PFL, my wife and what's his name? My wife can tell you the owner, the kickboxer, Safarian. They talk all the time. Eagle FC, I think, would be a lot of fun. Bare knuckle would be a blast. I think I could sell the hell out of bare knuckle.
I agree.
Truly, though, the dream job is WWE. If I don't get the new contract with the UFC, which is awesome, or which would be awesome if I got it, I'm gonna go hardcore trying to flirt with Triple H as best I can.
I'm glad you brought up your wife. So much has been brought up in basically every single one of your fights about how, not detrimental, how much she's helped improve your fight experience throughout your whole career. How active is she still in this camp leading into this fight?
This leading into this camp, she's more active than she's ever been, but it's not because of me this time. We just had baby number 6. I was around for about a week, and then I went to California.
Have fun with the newborn.
The first 6 weeks she was too pregnant to choke me, and then as soon as baby came, I more or less dipped out. And so she wasn't there.
Got while the getting was good.
So she's been at home alone with 6 kids for quite a while. But I'm back now, and she's here. She got here yesterday. I went and picked her up. We've got all of our kids with us, and we're having a good traditional fight week.
It's great to hear. Talking about that, father of 2 myself, how I couldn't imagine chasing 6 little ones around. I mean, I know the youngest of which is very small, so you're not chasing around yet, but even 5 chasing around, man. Walk me through that experience at this point.
Oh, well, they're the reason. I mean, the biggest reason we got out of California is we needed land. Mm-hmm. So I'm out in Tennessee. Yeah. I have 5 acres. I have horses and sheep and goats and chickens and ducks and this and that. And I can just kick the kids outside. Say, go outside, stay away from the road. and That's been a huge part of my parenting over the last 9 months.
I think he stays in shape, man, chasing around all the kids, dude.
He's doing the Rocky method. Catch the chicken.
I can't imagine. I can't even keep this one. She's in the bathroom. I can't even keep her out of the camera. So she's going to run through any second. You just can't. You can't win. I'm telling you.
With the modern world the way it is, that's probably the best experience you can hope for. Is a nice, traditional living at home with the family, go play outside type of an experience.
Oh, it's been fun. They're so excited to watch me fight. We got it to where they're going to be in the Apex Center as I fight, and that hasn't happened in close to 3 years because the COVID made all been suffering with. And so all 6 of my kids get to be at my fight, perhaps my last fight with the UFC. And I'm so excited to win in front of them.
See what I mean?
You're not wrong, dude. So we got a couple of questions off of some of the stuff we were asking. One of the questions we got was, why were you not a fan of Bjorn, if I can spit it out?
Dude never liked me. He kept moving the goalposts on me. I was told, all right, you win 3 fights and you'll be in the tournament. I said, okay. So I won 3 fights. Jason Guido was the last guy I fought. I beat Jason. I gotten there. And they said, no, you're not in the tournament. You have to win against Carl Amasu to get in the tournament. I said, oh, okay. He wanted Carl Amasu in the tournament, not me. I said, okay. So I beat Carl Amasu. Then we got backstage, like Bellator was doing the press fight, press conference and all that. And it was so funny. Bjorn was out there. He was talking about, all right, and this guy, Shevchenko, is in there. Shevchenko, he's the world's greatest Russian badass. He's awesome. And then this guy is, if Shevchenko's the best, this guy went down the line talking about how great everyone is. And then he got to me and said, and this is Sam. His name is Sam. And then he moved on to whoever was next. I just won for him. I was at the time the bloodiest fight in Bellator history. He cut me twice on the side of my head and it didn't stop bleeding. It was everywhere. And he was like, he recognized I was there and then said nothing and then continued down his list. I said, oh, okay. And then they asked, all right, who do you want to fight in this tournament? And I said, okay, you know what? I want to fight Shevchenko. Dude's a stud. I hate spinning. He's the guy that always, I don't know if you remember him, he always landed spinning stuff. So I don't think spinning stuff works, and I even take him out. And then we saw the brackets, and I was bracketed as far from Shevchenko as they could have put me. Said the only chance we would fight is if it was in the finals. So okay, I'll fight whoever. It was always a bunch. He just never had any interest in me being in Bellator. As soon as I lost one fight, cut. I mean, they released me immediately. There's no nothing, no goodbye note. There's just see you later. And this is another one. So in the fight I got cut in my Bellator debut, I had to go and get stitches. Hey, a little funny story. The doctor convinced me not to numb it. He said, yeah, if we numb it, you'll just have to prick it. We'll just give you staples. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. He convinced me. My wife was in there getting numb. So no, I'll be fine. Then he stapled me 4 times. It hurt so bad.
I bet.
Oh,
I bet.
And then Bellator's insurance didn't take care of it. I was hounded by the collection agencies for 5 years. And I kept saying, guys, it's not on me. This is the contract. Everything is under Bellator. And eventually they kept taking my credit. And I said, fine, I'll pay it. So I ended up paying for my medical bills that Bellator was contracted to pay.
Wow. So, I know go on. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No, I didn't have much to add. It was they never liked me and they stuck me with the bill.
Well, I was going to say, for most of us hardcore fans that have been around the game for a good while at this point, it's known that Bjorn, or however you pronounce his name correctly, he didn't make a lot of friends in the industry while he was running his promotions and being at the top level of the game. He seemed to make a lot of enemies, and it seems like a lot of the more veteran fighters don't speak too highly of him. Now, like to your point with Scott Coker and stuff like that, it seems to be the complete opposite. He seems to try to go out of his way to make fighters happy while in his promotion and stuff. But I've heard many horror stories similar to what you're saying while he was in charge.
It was crazy. It's like, I'm Smilin Sam. Everyone likes me. Not him. He didn't want anything to do with me.
Well, hell yeah, dude. Let's hope that you're going to get this knockout here and get you another UFC contract and none of this stuff matters in the first place. But before I let you get out of here, I would be remiss if I didn't say, how do you see this fight going?
I'm going to knock him out in 4 minutes and 43 seconds of the first round.
Bet that shit on DraftKings. You heard it here first.
I love the call.
Pen out here.
Down to the second.
Write it down to the exact second. I'm putting $20 first round knockout, Sam Alvey. Here we go. I like it.
Let's do it, man.
Hell yeah. He said he likes to put a little sprinkle on it. We'll see if J-Bone gets in on it. Mickey Marshak, 443 done. I'm betting. I like it. I like it, man. Well, like I said, Sam, I appreciate the time, dude. I can't wait to be watching the fight this weekend, and we're rooting for you to get this big knockout, man. And like I said, if somewhere down the road you end up in WWE, you know we're gonna be all over it, bro.
Ooh, I'll be with you guys. I'll let you know. I'll give you all the dirty.
Hell yeah, man. Well, be safe. Have a good night, and enjoy fight week, man. And get this dub come Saturday, huh?
Hey, thank you guys. You have a wonderful night. And we'll see you after the win.
Hell yeah, brother.
Man. Greatly appreciate
Smiling
time,
Sam.
Man.
Hell yeah.
That was
dude,
great.
man.
Yeah. He
Like
lives
I
up
said-
to every expectation, doesn't he, man? I mean, what a dude, right? He's willing to not be so, he's still very confident in himself, and you can hear it in the way he speaks. But he's not, unaware of the situation and stuff. He's willing to speak about, that this, to your point, is the last fight on his, contract and stuff. But I feel like the door is definitely not closing, man. Like I had noted while we had him on here, he's still putting on some incredible performances in these fights.
He gets in there and fights every time.
Yeah, let's say fight anybody. You know what I mean? So,
and I feel like come Saturday, man, we're definitely gonna have a hell of a scrap on our hands. He definitely built my level of anticipation up that much more for this fight.
And not to mention, he seems like he's just enjoying life, dude. Like, he's got such a positive mind. I mean, it's fight week. You know how fight week goes for these fighters, man. Sometimes it's grueling. The dude just seems like he's out there living his best life, just being happy, dude. He's got his kids out there. Stand-up guy right there, man. I'm rooting for him, that's for sure.
And he had even noted how he's, got a little extra to take off and stuff, this fight and stuff. And he's still just happy as can be, throwing jokes out there and shit, I mean, granted, he's still got probably one more day till he's in the worst of it, the cut and stuff. But it's still great to see, man,
Right, dude.
Out of the game.
Plus, we got to shoot the shit and get a live SummerSlam recap. I mean, dude, what a weekend we had with SummerSlam. And Mickey, like I said, good job, my guy. I got to be on commentary for Mickey's last fight with Lights Out. And, I hear they're coming back September 17th. And in November, you might just stay tuned. I might be back behind a microphone again soon. But with that being said, like I said, this weekend was a hell of a weekend, huh?
You ain't lying, dude. You ain't lying.
This weekend was a hell of a weekend. My parlays went to shit in the UFC. Shout out to Anthony Smith. Hopefully he has a quick and speedy recovery with what went down with that.
Man, that hurt my feel. If we're gonna bring it up, we can't just slide past that one because man, that one fucking hurt my feelings Saturday. I mean, we were watching it together, Kyle, and I kept saying, I'm like, dude, what are you doing on the fucking ground? Why are you doing this? Why you keep trying to like pull guard and shit like that? And then the second the fight was over, he's calling out, I got a broken ankle, and I'm like, oh, that's why, is because you literally couldn't even stand on your foot to try to fight somebody, but yet you still can't walk out into the second round knowing that you're basically walking into fire with one foot, and it's
no,
man,
dude, you could see he was hurt, dude.
As a fan who went so hard for him last week and still will, it's not like all of a sudden I lost faith in him or something like that, because I truly do feel like he was doing really well in that first round. But man, it was just unfortunate to fucking see, dude. That one hurt the feelings big time.
You're not kidding, man. I'm a big Anthony Smith guy, and it fucked up my parlays. But like I said, make sure you check out our sponsors at G3 Payroll and Tax. so that your taxes are already going to be on point. So you don't got to worry about them parlays. You can just play with your money. Apparently, I didn't do so good with my taxes, but G3 payroll tax and accounting will get you together. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. Yeah, man, it was tough. Like I said, but they were good fights. Amanda Nunes gets her belt back. What a war with Juliana Pena. I hope that they keep her in the top of the division after that, because Amanda got an immediate rematch and she got finished. And even though I'm not saying that Amanda didn't thoroughly give Juliana the work, she still went 5 rounds with her.
Yeah, well, with the strength of the division, me and you had the point after the fight of whether or not they should do the rematch immediately or not for a third time. I didn't argue necessarily against it, but I posed the counterpoint in the fact of I feel as though she should be one fight out, in my opinion. She should go against another top level contender. The way that the division is currently built up right now, there isn't some clear number one that stands out. Like, so many people are clamoring for Valentina versus Amanda for the third time just because of the simple fact there isn't a clear contender for either one. So, in my opinion, the best thing would be to have her be one fight off. I don't necessarily care for the Valentina Amanda thing at the moment, but that's just personal preference. But I do think that Juliana Pena still is in that upper echelon of the division, and she showcased that. It was just, man, her striking looked just levels below Amanda Nunes in that fight, man.
Well, and really Amanda said going into this, she had her original striking coach with her too. So, I mean, Amanda Nunes really came out and showed why she's Amanda Nunes. But like you said, I think we have to see another fight come out. You know, everybody who's watching, anybody who's new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the action. Shout out to Sam Alvey as he gets ready to go to war this Saturday at UFC Vegas 59. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, since you brought up talking about that action, I want to talk about that action that we seen when Brandon Moreno threw that kick straight into Kai Kara France's ribs/liver. By God, that sounded fucking vicious, huh, boys?
First of all, it ruined my second parlay of the night, so we don't have to talk about that. But man, I thought Kai Kara France, he's on a roll, man. I like that kid, dude. I didn't think it was gonna happen that way. Definitely didn't think it was gonna happen that way. But
especially,
wow, what a kick.
Especially the way that it took place, right? Because it went from Brandon Moreno was looking really crisp in the first 2 rounds. He was looking real good. He looked like he was leading the dance and winning the fight. It looked like there wasn't some crazy amount of action or something like that. But both guys were throwing, and Brandon Moreno looked to have been winning the fight. Come that 3rd round, Kai Kara France had turned momentum completely on its head. It was fully in his corner. I mean, it looked like when Brandon Moreno started to get busted up and stuff like that, I was like, oh, shit, man. We're about to see that Mexican heart really get tested here in these later rounds, man, and see if, you know, he's got 2 in the pocket, but is he going to be able to either get him out of here or secure one of these later rounds? Because with momentum being what it is, Kai Kara France was on fire at the, you know, the opening 3 minutes of the 1st or 3rd round. But boy, once Brandon Moreno, he started to bring things back to at least even ground. And then he made Kai Kara France miss with one of his shots and just rifled that kick in there. And as soon as you heard it land, it was just, you knew instantly what, you know, the result was.
Well, dude, look at the pictures of what hit him with. And I mean, that was one thing I wanted to ask Sam about, but I didn't get the chances. Again, I've said multiple times on this show, the liver shot's the worst punch I've ever taken in my life. And a kick to the liver, much less a kick to the liver when you're that far into a fight, is no fun. So shout out to Kai Kara France. I don't think he's going anywhere in the division. I think, like I said, I think he's going to be, I don't think he's going anywhere. J-Bone, let me throw it to you for a second. So we talked a little bit about UFC 277 and where we're going to go out of that. Like I said, we've got UFC Vegas 59 that's going down this Saturday with past guests of the show, Jamal Hill in the main event against Thiago Santos.
Double thumbs himself.
Right.
Double fucking thumbs himself.
Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. Shout out to Jamal. Let's see him get a dub here. And we've got the return. And like I said, tonight's guest, Sam Alvey, on the card as well. So we are highly invested in UFC Vegas 59. But that wasn't all that went down this weekend. So I'm going to throw it to you. Give me your thoughts on SummerSlam and give me your thoughts on Ric Flair's last match show.
First of all, SummerSlam, dude, top to bottom for me was a banger show. The way they opened up that, Kyle, we both know it's very important what you open the show with, right? And I think by them opening the show with Bianca and Becky, we're still playing off last year's 30-second SummerSlam match, dude. And I think we said it last week. We were expecting a banger. We got a banger, dude, to open that show. That was a great match. But
definitely, it sucks Becky got hurt, but it was definitely in
the first hour of that show, we had a great match. We had a debut, a main roster debut. We had a return from Bayley.
Yeah, and Bayley and Io Sky now, which I still don't know why it couldn't have been Io Shirai, but Io Sky and Dakota Kai, who had been released, comes back with Bayley, and then they come to lay a number, and then Becky steps up to back up Bianca. So, I mean, she's hurt, and we saw on Raw last night is going to be out, but I mean, like you said, banger match for sure.
Dude, and talk about making a creative splash. We were talking about that last week. What a way to start off one of your bigger shows of the year. You flipped a lot of things upside down right there. So, I mean, starting point, unbelievable. All the way to the end, man. The Brock Lesnar tipping the ring up thing. I mean, I think we've all seen that everywhere on social media now. So much room for error, but like what a crowd pop that had. You know what I mean? Like I thought if anything, they were gonna maybe somebody was gonna get the tractor thing on top of them. Like, oh, they can't get up, last man standing, you know, gimmick and all. But the fact that he lifted the ring up and just left it there until the end of the
and then got back in the ring to take the picture and do the tip of the cap to the crowd.
Like, bro, you'll never see that again. We've never seen it, and we'll never see it again. You know what I mean? Like, way to make an impact, dude. That was incredible. But yeah, great show. I love that. Now, the Ric Flair thing, the buildup was great. I love following the story, man. The card was awesome. The match, top to bottom.
The show itself was badass. Great.
We had the old school feel with Jim Crockett Promotions and everything. It was awesome, man. The match itself, hey, we got what we got, right? What did you expect? It was, a lot of it was Jay Lethal and Jarrett and Andrade in there doing their thing. But
dude, shout out to Jeff Jarrett. Yes. Jeff Jarrett looked great. For Jeff Jarrett being around as long as he did, he had them people ready to hop the rail to fucking fight him.
Exactly.
Like legitimately had people like and then when he went back the second time, like he is just getting in this guy's shit. And I'm like, man, Jarrett is coming with the heat tonight, dude.
You'll work 101 right there, man. Make them hate you. And they did. But hey, like I said, we got what we got out of it. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad he got through safe. He went and partied with Kid Rock afterwards, as he said.
He cut the whole heartfelt promo and then goes, man, I'm going downtown with Kid Rock tonight.
Hey, in true Ric Flair fashion, dude. He went out the way he wanted to go out. So kudos to him. I'm just, like I said, I'm glad he got through it safe, man. There was some points in that match where I was like, wait, is he okay right now? Is he okay right now?
Well, yeah.
The match, I mean, like you say, the match was the match. The performances weren't bad. I feel like for what we got to see.
The show itself was badass from top to
the show
bottom.
Itself and stuff. Yeah, the actual event itself was, done well and stuff.
The whole rest of the card, all the matches from top to bottom.
My summarization, though, it was great to see Flair walking his way out of the entrance and stuff like that, taking the belt in hand, blood soaked in the hair and shit. And you can see he was taking the moment in. Like I had noted before, I just hope that's the last time we get to see him take that moment in. You know what I mean? And I feel like the match was even more a clear example of why it should be the last time. But it wasn't the worst.
I'm not
thing.
mad at it. Let him have his
Yeah.
last moment. Like, that's cool. Now that's it.
Like I said, he got through it and he made it through. That's what counts here. So as long as he did you.
The craziest thing, shout out to Devin, because Devin pointed this out too, but it literally was my first thought, was like, they did the figure 4 pin. Okay, cool. But Flair's shoulders were down too.
I don't think he could help it at that point. He couldn't even...
I know, but I literally, like, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm like, wait a minute, but
one
Jay
thing
Lethal should have just went over there and lifted his arm up, as he was counting. Like, here, just hold your arm up, buddy. So, let's get this right. You know what I mean?
Not to just jump back to SummerSlam here, but one thing I had noted with Kyle, because we had the dual screen thing going on throughout the night, so I was able to catch both events. For the most part, I mean, I had, majority put my attention towards the fights, later at the night, but especially the earlier wrestling events or matches, I was paying a lot more attention to and stuff. But honestly, my standout performer in the night, I missed the first match with Becky and Bianca, but other than that, fucking Logan Paul looked fucking pretty standout for first real shot, first roster appearance type of like performance. He looked
dive to the table
solid.
was dope.
And then one thing I had noted with Kyle, and I feel like I should note here on the show, for all the wrestling fans out there, wrestling, one thing MMA could probably take a little gander at and stuff. I mean, there's tons of hardcores like myself that'll tune in for these fights and stuff from the beginning to the end. And you had even made note of it, Jordan, just a minute ago, that they do a great job of, you never know how they're going to stack these events and what match is going to take place when. So you truly do want to be there from show to entrance time till the time that the main event is, played its cards and the fat lady singing, So that's one thing that wrestling truly does a great job, because I had walked in at the Logan Paul match and there was already, the stadium was at 90% of what was going to be there for the day, for the night. And you're talking second match in, because people know, who knows what match may end up being the very first thing curtain open,
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a thing in pro wrestling. Like Colin, you can chime in on this as well. It's almost as important to open your show with a great match as it is your main event. You want to start that show red hot.
You want to start hot and get the crowd up, and you want to end it with something that's going to be memorable. I mean, I don't know what more memorable they could have done than that tractor shit. That was pretty insane.
And I'm pretty sure they did that at a UFC not too long ago. I remember, who was it? Who opened?
They had a tractor at the UFC?
No,
I want to say it was Gaethje and
well, yeah, that for the pay-per-view open, but that was just because of the way that they had worked with the coaches and stuff like that. For more of us hardcore fans, they had done that with the actual prelim openers as well a couple times in these most recent events, with Kyle Dawkins unfortunately losing to Roman Dolidze. That was a arguably, top 15 fight in a stacked division that opened the night. Same thing with not his most recent fight, but the fight before that, Dustin Jacoby, on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak in the UFC, and they had him as like the second fight of the night or something. So they've been doing more of that, where they've been inserting some of these not like super known guys, but the guys that us hardcore guys are like, yeah, this guy is somebody that could make his way into the upper echelon.
See, they keep taking hard, I think.
Well, they keep taking those guys, though, and they do keep inserting them in those spots. And you'll see it, when you look at the list of the cards, because on the complete other hand, MMA guys like myself, we're more used to, like, the curtain jerker fights. Like, this guy's making his promotional debut, and this other guy's on a 2-fight losing streak. So who's going to win? Like, they've been doing a lot different with that as of more recently.
Well, I mean, I think ultimately it's going to help them in building other people, building the fights. Like I said, we're looking forward to this one with Jamal Hill being in the main event.
Yeah.
As we mentioned with SummerSlam and Ric Flair's last match, there was a ton to talk about there. And we've got more, and we've got even more coming up this month. Shout out to past guests of the show, Austin Bashy, who's going to be getting into the cage for Anthony Pettis' promotion. That's why I said again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of this good stuff. I don't know, man. We've pretty much covered the gamut. Smilin Sam, SummerSlam, Ric Flair's last match, UFC 277. We got you covered. So again, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I think we put the bow on this one. Make sure you tune in this Thursday at 9. You never know who's going to be on the other end of that box. It could be MMA, it could be wrestling, it could be, I don't know, a death punch. But with that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you never know who will be with us next. Peace.